Fans, commentators, and even the boxers themselves are doubting the sport's credibility in light of the recent controversy surrounding the boxing contest between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. with scorecards for Davis at 115 to 113 and 2 at 114 to 114. The fight, which took place on March 1, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, finished in a majority draw. The main topic of discussion, though, is Davis's crucial knee in the 9th round, which many people feel should have resulted in a knockout but wasn't. This event, along with Davis's following visit to his corner to treat an eye problem, has stoked allegations of poor officiating, fight fixing, and a wider conversation about the current condition of boxing. Well-known commentators like Joe Rogan, Teddy Atlas, and seasoned referee Jack Reese have all offered viewpoints that emphasize the intricacy of the matter and the enduring problems in the sport. Let's begin with the actual battle. The overwhelming favorite going into the fight was Gervonta Davis, a lightweight division superstar renowned for his tremendous knockout power. With a 30-0 record, including 28 knockout victories, Davis has established himself as one of the most fierce punchers at 135 pounds. With a 25-1-1 record going into the fight, his opponent, WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr., moved up a weight class for this challenge. Despite his respect, Roach was viewed as a major underdog, and many people thought Davis would add another spectacular finale to his list of accomplishments. However, it was immediately apparent that this would not be your average Davis clash. Using his movement and counterpunching to break Davis's rhythm, Roach emerged calm and unafraid. Known for his cautious start, Davis spent the first several rounds probing instead of launching his signature power shots. Roach capitalized by dominating the majority of the first exchanges and hitting deft right hands. Davis started to open up around the middle rounds, and he showed signs of awakening with a concussion right in the 6th. However, Roach took it all in stride and retaliated, first shocking Davis with a straight right in the 7th and then wobbling the champion for a moment with a huge counter uppercut in the 8th. What had started off as a one-sided fight had devolved into a competitive scrap. The night would be defined by the 9th round, which followed. A jab, not a particularly damaging hit, was delivered by Roach, and Davis mysteriously fell to a knee close to his corner. Then, as if to ask his crew for help, he leaned over the ropes and they used a towel to clean his face. At 3, referee Steve Willis stopped counting and just gave a warning rather than declaring a knockdown. Davis then clarified that his vision was impaired because sweat caused the grease from his hair, which had been applied 2 days earlier, to drop into his eye. Roach kept pushing forward, delivering body blows and counters throughout the championship rounds, but Davis responded forcefully when the fight resumed without a penalty. The scorecards showed how close the fight was, and the 19,250 spectators, a record for boxing at Barclays Center, were in disbelief as the final bell rang. The uproar started right away. A knockdown occurs when a combatant touches the canvas with anything other than their feet following a punch, according to the unified rules of boxing. Roach might have won the bout on at least one judge's card if Willis had counted it that way, giving him a 10-8 round. Rather, 2 judges gave Davis the 9-10-9 score, which confused many onlookers. The missed call by renowned referee Willis was cited as a crucial mistake in posts on X and in commentary from ringside analysts like Mike Coppinger. Although the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, acknowledged that Willis had begun to count before halting, they ultimately upheld the draw and promised a review. Their logic. After the no call, the battle went on for 3 more rounds, and the competitors adapted to Willis's judgment, therefore it wasn't outcome determinative. They also claimed that instant replay was unavailable during the fight due to a technological glitch, which is an odd justification for a well-known occurrence in 2025. Joe Rogan was unreserved in his critique. He criticized the ruling on his podcast, calling it a farce and casting doubt on the validity of a rule that, according to him, gave a knocked-out fighter 2 minutes to recover and try to knock out someone again, ending in a tie. Although Rogan's interpretation may have overstated the details, boxing does not have such a clear rule. His main point was unmistakable. The 9th round event was fishy, and the result didn't sit well. Davis, a champion of his caliber, he maintained, could not abandon such a poor performance without a rematch. Everyone witnessed it, Rogan remarked. You cannot avoid what everyone witnessed. Tank had something in his eyes, but it wasn't a true knockdown like when he hurt Tank. When you have a world title battle, why are you putting something in your hair? That is absurd. He claimed that boxing's reputation was at stake and urged Davis to shave his head and rematch with Roach in order to settle the score. Teddy Atlas, a seasoned commentator with decades of experience in the sport, agreed with Rogan's demand for a rematch but added cynicism to his optimism. During a live stream, he declared, "We need the rematch, and we'll get it, but I'm ashamed of myself for being so cynical. I've become cynical because of this sport." Atlas argued that Davis's actions were unprecedented and unjustifiable by citing previous examples, such as Angelo Dundee telling a blinded Muhammad Ali to continue moving instead of kneeling. In his criticism of the referee's refusal to count the knockout and subsequent lack of accountability, he implied that in contemporary boxing, popularity and influence frequently take precedence over competence. "What will you do?" he bemoaned. "I've played my sport for 50 years, and I enjoy it. The things people do to it annoy me. I detest it. I don't conceal that." As a guest on a panel discussion, veteran referee Jack Reese provided a more sober perspective. Due to an ethics agreement, he clarified the guidelines rather than criticize Willis directly. "Strict regulations are enshrined in the law," he clarified. "Rules are adaptable and facilitate your operation within that system. Referees have ultimate power in the ring," he said, "and they have the final say over stoppages and knockdowns." Examples such as Miguel Cotto kneeling under pressure from Antonio Margarito, Chris Algieri kneeling against Ruslan Provodnikov to recover from an earlier knockdown, and Carlos Hernandez turning his back and taking a knee against Floyd Mayweather were all mentioned by Reese. A count was given in each instance. Reese noted, "Steve Willis knew there was a count because he started counting and then stopped, leaving the audience to make their own judgment. Combatants also contributed. Roach won, and that should have been called a knockdown," wrote pound-for-pound legend Terence Crawford on X. Speaking on Fight Hub TV, Robert Guerrero concurred, saying, "If you're following the rules, it should have been a knockdown. I would have given it a score of 10-8. Regardless of the force of the strike, Chris Algieri stressed that taking a knee results in a count after considering his personal experience. He remembered his altercation with Provodnikov and said, "I didn't get hit. I took a knee because my vision was impaired, knowing full well that I would be given a count and 8 to 9 seconds to stand up." Roach was outspoken over the result. He disclosed a telling exchange with Davis in the 11th or 12th round in the ring following the bout. He said, "You're not going to win," Roach said. "Why not?" I asked. "What are you discussing?" "They're not going to give it to you," he said. "Oh, is that right?" I asked. "That's how boxing works, you know. I regret to inform you of this." When the first scorecard favored Davis, Roach originally believed he had won a split decision, but the 114-114 calls that followed dashed his dreams. "I'm not really angry," he continued. "I assumed you wouldn't get much on paper with a superstar, but I really believed I had it." Although the official outcome left him with a bitter taste, his performance, outstripping Davis 112-103 in total punches, according to CompuBox, earned him a moral triumph and a spike in recognition. Davis, on the other hand, accepted the draw and implied that it was a teaching moment. He remarked, "Lamont is an excellent fighter. He is skilled and has punching strength. We're hoping to run it back." Later, in a statement, his trainer dismissed the criticism as normal. "Everything he does has haters," he remarked. "Throughout boxing's history, fighters have been kneeling. It wasn't against the law." He inclined toward the latter response when asked if it was an error or a move used by veterans. "It takes place in boxing. The consequences have been substantial." Davis was jeered by the crowd, who were clearly disappointed after anticipating a resounding victory. Another lightweight competitor, Shakur Stevenson, blasted Davis's performance, saying it revealed a weakness in his mindset, taking a knee to break momentum instead of gritting his teeth. Davis's justifications were criticized by commentator Showbiz the Adult, who claimed that he had no business faltering when he had a skilled trainer like Calvin Ford and plenty of preparation. "He didn't do enough, but he still wanted to win," Showbiz stated. The uproar persisted even after the PPV figures, which were allegedly around 500,000 buys, reduced some of the pressure. Even though the NYSAC acknowledged that Willis missed the knockdown, its decision to maintain the draw attracted more criticism. Many found their argument that the instant replay failed because of technical issues, and that the referee's real-time call could not be changed because the fight went on to be weak. Those who believed it to be unlawful corner interference agreed with Canelo Alvarez's suggestion that the towel incident should result in disqualification. However, the commission remained steadfast, which is uncommon unless there is a positive drug test, as was the case with Ryan Garcia's 2024 victory over Devin Haney that was overturned. The wider ramifications are concerning. Critics claim that pay-per-view earnings and Davis's celebrity power outweighed fair competition, leading to a resurgence of accusations of fight-fixing and manipulation for financial advantage. Purists who worry that boxing's authenticity is waning found resonance in Atlas's complaint that popularity dictates results over competence. Unresolved occurrences further damage the sport's already brittle credibility. The draw calls into question Davis's legacy and marred his flawless record. He has committed to increased participation in 2025 at the age of 30, but volume by itself won't allay skeptics. He needs a game-changing victory. Roach's profile rose as a result of the battle, demonstrating his suitability for the big stage. With fans demanding resolution and both combatants showing desire, a rematch appears to be the obvious next step. Although there is still doubt about whether the sport's abilities will measure up to expectations, Rogan, Atlas, and others maintain that it is vital to rebuild trust. Even though boxing is a sport of unadulterated beauty and ruthless honesty, it frequently gets caught up in its own paradoxes. As Atlas pointed out, the Davis-Roach bout was a display of exceptional skill, but its ending left a stain. Something has to give, whether it's a national commission, more stringent officiating, or just another opportunity to compete. The argument continues till then, and the shadow over that ninth round lengthens.